Let's talk about that new initiative, the Preserving the Public Trust.
Right.
You all actually, I think, recently came out with a publication.
That's right. We have a new publication called the Guiding Principles and Best Practices for South Carolina nonprofits.
Okay.
There is a North Carolina equivalent for your North Carolina viewers.
Good. Thank you. Thanks for tying that in.
Yeah,
that doesn't happen often enough. Thank you.
But this is the South Carolina's own document. It incorporates federal law as well as South Carolina law and the Charitable Solicitation Act here in South Carolina. So we came up with this initiative, understanding the scrutiny coming down from Washington. This was done through Aaron Hardwick was my predecessor. This started before I got here. I've been at Scampo for 14 months.
Right.
So I inherited this wonderful project. We have a task force of 21 leaders from all around the state, including here in Myrtle Beach. Jonathan Kreskin with the Waccamaw Community Foundation is on the task force. And we wanted foundation input, corporate input, nonprofit executives from the larger and smaller nonprofits, and even consultants. We have attorneys and CPAs. We even had a member of the General Counsel for the Secretary of State's office was on the task force.
Is that right?
So they decided to come out with this Preserving the Public Trust initiative. And the initiative's ultimate goal was to produce this document called Guiding Principles and Best Practices. But there's two other important facets within the initiative. And that was we did an initial assessment of nonprofits here in South Carolina and asked them 29 questions basically about best practices. Are you doing this, that, or the other currently? This is before we went public with the initiative. So we have a baseline survey to understand how much nonprofits were doing last summer.
Right.
Then we polled the actual state of South Carolina, the public. We had the University of South Carolina do a poll throughout the state. It's statistically significant to give us their opinion about the state of nonprofits as the public views it. So we'll re-administer both of those surveys every couple of years to see how we're moving the needle. Now this document, the Guiding Principles and Best Practices, is a tool for nonprofits to use in order to make themselves more accountable, more transparent. There's 7 guiding principles and 67 best practices associated with them.
That is tremendous.
So it's wonderful. It's been through tremendous scrutiny. We decided to a few other states have adopted similar type standards of excellence or guiding principles and best practices. We took what we liked. We hired a consultant to put together the initial draft. Literally, this was the summer of 2006. We brought it to the task force. We incorporated South Carolina law, and we had our first draft. And then we went to 11 listening sessions around the state. The very first one was in Myrtle Beach.
Is that right?
We had 49 folks here giving us their opinions, and we had some aha moments at that very first session that the 21-member task force, as great as they are, they didn't see everything that they needed to see.
Sure.
So Myrtle Beach gave us some great input right then. Then we went to Rock Hill, and we went to Greenwood, and we went to Greenville, Spartanburg, Columbia, Beaufort, Aiken, Charleston, of course. We had 120 people in Charleston.
Is that right?
We had a big group. So we had over 600 attendees in these 11 listening sessions, free, open to the public, give us their input on what needed to be inside of these new South Carolina-based guiding principles and best practices.
Right.
So this document that is now the final draft is document 9.2. We had 9 versions, and then we had a couple little word corrections, and that's why it's .2. But this document is available for free on our website.
Come on,
it is at scampo.org on the first page, right on our front page. Anybody can print it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is fantastic. Well, it looks tremendous, and it's very handsome. If someone visited y'all's office, I assume they could probably get a physical copy, but going online is tremendous.
That's exactly right. In fact, anybody who wants one free copy can go online, download the order form, and they can order one free copy, and we'll send it to them anywhere in the state. This is grant funded. We have wonderful foundations here in South Carolina, the Springs Close Foundation, Sisters of Charity Foundation, and then the Donnelly Foundation, which serves the coast of South Carolina, out of Georgetown. Maybe it's Murrells Inlet. That's what they're based out of.
Right.
Anyway, they are supporting this effort, so we can make this free, one copy to anybody who wants one.
Statewide.
If they want multiple copies, we're going to charge them $1.50. So
each, right, very reasonable. But going online, they can print down virtually anything. Go to the library if they don't have access at home. Or
that's exactly right.
Go to a friend's house.
The point is to get this document into the hands of as many folks who want to see it. And that would be not only nonprofit staffers, but the Board of Trustees need to see this document. The board, most importantly, is the fiduciary responsible party of the organization. They hire an executive director, and that person hires the staff to run the day-to-day operations of a nonprofit. But when the buck stops here, it's at the Board of Trustees.
That's
They are
very
the
good point.
fiduciary responsible. So they need to see, anybody who's serving on the board of a nonprofit needs to see this document. It's their guide on how to be transparent and accountable. It's a wonderful resource and a tool for anybody serving on a
That's
nonprofit.
great, Mason. Speaking of the board, you've got board members from all over the state, or
We do.
any of them from this area?
Scampo has 18 board members currently, and we have 2 from Horry County.
Good,
And in
good.
fact, our board of directors chairperson is from Horry County. His name is Bill Harrell. He's a pastor, and he serves on the care team board
Good.
here in Conway, Myrtle Beach area.
Okay.
And the other board member is Jonathan Kreskin from the Waccamaw Community Foundation.
Of course. How about in the PD or?
PD, we have the head of the United Way there in Florence. His name is David Barr. He's our past chair.
Is that right?
So there's been a great...
Of course, the same viewers. It's right now at 7 a.m. on Channel 7 there, Fox 43 and on cable up in Florence and
Right.
in Hartsville and in Bennettsville and otherwise.
They're familiar with the United Way there, of course, and
Of
David
course,
Barr has
David
been
Barr.
our past chair.
Okay, so 3 of the 18 board members are from our viewing area.
That's exactly
wonderful. You
right.
probably have a connection there still in Sumter with your old, that being your old stomping ground.
Right.
I'm sure there's some people who are very interested in the future of
We
Scampo.
have lots of nonprofits, of course, in the
Yes.
Sumter area, and I was the hospital fundraiser at Sumter, and before that I was the hospital fundraiser in Newberry.
Okay,
So,
boy, you've covered the state well, Mason.
Covered the state well. We have a wonderful state.
Yes, yes. Listen to you.
And now, as
Yeah.
the executive director of a statewide organization, I get to travel the state and go to meetings and do interviews and talk about the important work of nonprofits and the impact we have.
How about some nonprofits that have been ramping up recently? Have you seen, of course, of your 830 members, you're probably seeing a lot of other folks outside of the member base. Well, have there been any nonprofits that, as a group, have been just ramping up quickly? For instance, educational foundations or county-based foundation or individual school foundations. I think we've seen a lot seemingly pop up here. in
There are a lot
PD.
of those that are popping up for school foundations, for example,
Sure.
when they know that the government funding for on the property taxes that may be going on in a specific county to fund the schools is not enough, and they want
Right.
more. They start a 501c3 school foundation so they
Sure.
can give back, and that is happening
Yes.
throughout the state naturally. There's a need that needs to be filled, so they're trying to fill it. A lot of what the Super Bowl of Caring, I'm sure you've heard of that organization every year around the Super
SOUP,
Bowl.
right.
Yeah, SOUP. They're growing like gangbusters because they're really going national in what they're doing, and they have a tremendous cause. But they do that every
Did that get
year
started in
Super
South
Bowl.
Carolina?
Yes.
Oh, come
in
on.
the northeast area of Columbia. Sure has.
Is
sure
that
did start
right?
There, yeah.
That's tremendous, Mason.
So they're one of our members, and they're growing strong. But really where the population base is growing, that's where the needs are the most.
Okay.
So that's where the nonprofits are popping up and ramping up.
We've just got a couple of minutes, and talking about there's a lot of folks, and you mentioned Wachovia, a for-profit business that would want to join because they want to see not-for-profits, nonprofits really ramp up and be as transparent as possible and grow as strong as possible in communities. That probably helps for-profit businesses really see some of the up-and-coming nonprofits and find ways that they can help support them. What would be some other reasons why a for-profit company, Fox 43 for instance,
Right.
why would they want to be involved with Scampo?
Well, they certainly care about the communities they serve and work in, and this is just in general for any corporation, and they're giving money to their local nonprofits. Well,
Yes.
if they're giving money to Scampo by being a member or by funding us through grants and what have you, they're supporting our efforts to educate nonprofits. So when they're giving the money to their local nonprofits, they know that those nonprofits are properly educated on how to handle their money.
Sure.
You know, financial stability and the use of funds is most important to those donors. And that would be
Yes.
from the corporation side and the foundation side. So they want to make sure that they're being properly educated to run their organizations properly. So by funding Scampo and our educational efforts to train nonprofits, they're in fact benefiting the organizations and the communities they're serving. So it's a way to keep them going. We're the source for nonprofits in South Carolina. Encourage anybody to come to our website.
Good, absolutely, and they'll see that. And of course, some of the best practices that they may see if they went online and picked up a copy, just real quick, Mason, if you want to highlight a couple of things they may see, and of course they can see it in more detail
Right.
online or by getting a pamphlet.
And some of them are law, of course, but some of the ones that aren't law is we like to encourage folks to have a job description. You don't just walk up to somebody and say, hey, Greg, I want you to join this nonprofit board. That's not the way to recruit a nonprofit board member. You
Yes.
actually hand them a document saying, here's how often we meet, here's what's expected of you. And one of the things that we also have as a best practice is that is expected of board members is to make a contribution to the nonprofit on the board they serve.
Yes.
So that when somebody asks, is 100% of your board giving to your organization, the answer should always be yes.
Whatever the amount.
Whatever
right.
the amount. It doesn't have to be $1,000. It doesn't have to be $100.
Right.
And that's important for those organizations that have boards that actually have representation from the people they're serving. So
Yes.
if you run a soup kitchen, you may be a homeless shelter, you might have one of your constituents, one of your customers, one of your clients on your board if they're given a quarter. Imagine how powerful that is when you sit across the desk from a wealthy donor or foundation or corporation and they ask you that question, is 100% giving? You can say, yes, in fact, one of our constituents sits on a board and they contribute. That's a powerful message.
Wow.
Hard to say no to somebody asking you for money when people believe in it that passionately.
That's a very
That's
good point.
one of the 67 best practices.
67.
There's
Folks are just going to have to
67.
take the time to go online. Thanks so much for being
Sure.
with us this morning.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Mason Hardy coming up next. You know, I run out of printer paper all the time because I go online and like to print stuff out, but this is great. You ought to touch and hold this thing. It's tremendous. You can go online to scanpo.org. That's SCANPO.org. And fill out the order form and send in and get one of these for free. And if you're with a nonprofit organization or not, you can even order more, $1.50 each. You heard Mason talk about it. They've got a grant. They can get them sent out to you. There's also an 800 phone number. We should have been promoting it. We're going to promote it now. 800-438-8508. 800-438-8508. And, of course, that website's so tremendous. 7 guiding principles here, 7 guiding principles, 67 best practices. Take the time to go online, either fill out the order form and get a copy, or go ahead and take the time to go online, look at it, print it out, and give them out to some friends. Mason wants to get it out. He wants to get this information out. He's working hard every day. In addition, there's some tremendous trainings coming up later this month and throughout the year. These 7 guiding principles, the training sessions are going on during the month of May 15th and May 31st in particular. So go online. You'll see all those dates and times. You can sign up whether you're a member or not. They want to get the word out.